Welcome to a very special episode of Scaling Expertise. Today's episode is a little bittersweet because after 120 episodes, a little over 3 years of podcasting, this will be the last episode of Scaling Expertise in its current form. First, I want to say thank you. Thank you to every single listener who's tuned in, whether this is your very first episode. And if so, I'm glad you made it. Or if you've been with me since the beginning, when I started with Hourly to Exit podcast, thank you. And thank you to all the amazing guests that I've had over that time. They have all so generously shared their successes and their challenges. I personally like to think of all of them as my own personal coaching session. They all had such great information to share. And thank you to the broader community for your curiosity, your thoughtful questions, your willingness to think differently about expertise, to think about intellectual property. I know it's a topic that some people don't like to think about, but thank you for bearing with me while I nerd out on intellectual property and about the future of work. So this podcast has been a really wonderful, wonderful chapter of my professional life. It stretched me, humbled me at times, and most importantly, connected me with people that I never would have connected with otherwise. I always learned something new, which is the great thing about creating content. We create content as much for ourselves as we do for you. Any content creator will tell you that they learn so much with every piece of content that they create. And of course, an ending is also a beginning. So I'm excited to share with you what will be next in my journey. So after sharing insights and interviews in this format, I will be pivoting to a long form content. So I'll be doing some deep dives, workshops, conversations that don't just skim the surface, no more tips and tricks, but tackling some of the most urgent and complicated questions of our time. And one of those questions, how do we, as experts, how do we serve our clients ethically in a world where AI is in everything, everywhere, all the time? So what happened? I had the pleasure of presenting an in-person workshop, and it really was so eye-opening to be able to go really deep and have that interaction with people. It's something that you just don't get on a podcast. And even with my LinkedIn Lives, which I enjoy tremendously, I still did not get that type of interaction, just that immediate feedback, the ability to just kind of pivot and go with the flow. I really, really loved it. And so I want to do more of that. I want to be in the room with people where we talk about these wonderful issues. So I'll be seeking out more opportunities to interact with people in person. And there's another part of the AI conversation that I also want to focus more completely on. We don't need to know anything more about prompts or about which tools to use. There are so many resources that will guide you to tell you which resources to use for speed or for productivity. My inbox is absolutely filled with people who will help you with that. But what I really want to dive into and what's really close to my heart is to talk about our responsibility, to talk about what it means to be an ethical expert in an AI saturated world. Of course, legal issues will always be there. You know me. I'll keep talking about copyright law. I mean, honestly, it's impossible to not talk about the legal issues. Copyright law, contracts, data protection, confidentiality, these are all elements of being an ethical expert. So, the law will still continue to show up. But even bigger than the legal issues is the context of our ethical obligations as experts, our duty to our clients who place so much trust in us, and our responsibility to bring integrity to our work. And so during conversations with you online, in person, I've heard your concerns, the fear of, is any AI use ethical? Especially when we think about the bias that is unfortunately baked into the training data, the enormous environmental costs of the power and energy required to operate ever more powerful AI tools and the impact on jobs, especially in today's environment. It really feels like a perfect storm. Then there's also kind of the more practical questions like, how do I disclose my AI use to my clients? Do I need to? What type of attribution is required or ethically required? Since there's generally not a legal requirement, but that's all a separate issue. Don't we go there? But how do I start without falling into kind of getting overwhelmed, frankly? There's so many tools, so many choices. You could add an AI tool to literally every element of your work if you wanted to, but that's going to be the rare expert who wants to go that deep with AI. There certainly are some who do, and more power to them. I admire them. But for most of us, we're just looking for the right ways, both legally and ethically, to add AI into our practices. So these are not small questions, but they go to the heart of being a trusted advisor to our clients and, frankly, to be better humans. So what's next? I'll be creating content that's designed for experts who care deeply about their clients, who care deeply about their body of work, about their reputations, about their communities, and about the state of the earth. And because, the world is full of people who just use AI thoughtlessly, that might even be the majority of people, I'm afraid to say. But what we need is a community that's committed to using AI with a conscience. And that's what I hope to build. It is about doing the right thing, not just because the law says so, but because our integrity demands it. So this isn't goodbye. It's see you soon in a new format. And I invite you, and I hope that you will stay connected with me on LinkedIn. There'll be fewer newsletters, but they'll come out occasionally, but not on any regular cadence. I plan to still do the occasional LinkedIn Live, but as I continue to explore this long form content, more workshops, more in-depth resources, I definitely want you to come along so we can explore this new territory together. And I really do rely on you to get your feedback, to hear what your thoughts, your concerns are. That's how I grow and can provide the most value to you. And I hope that you'll come along with me on that journey to get clarity and confidence in using AI in our work. So protecting client trust, protecting our reputations, that's the most valuable asset that we have. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being part of this incredible journey from hourly to exit to scaling expertise. And now to what's next, diving into how to be an ethical expert in an AI-driven world. So until then, till I see you again, take care of yourselves, take care of your IP, and use AI wisely. Thanks again.